Hi, this is Spencer, founder of Synapse Trading, and today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic, which is how do you trade the news? And by news, I mean, there's always so much news that's coming in, right? Especially, in times like this with the COVID virus, and then the market is crashing, and then you get news about like jobs data, you get news about more people, more cases, more people dying. So there's always a lot of different news that's bombarding you left and right while you're trying to make a trading decision. So how do you deal with all this uncertainty and conflicting news in the market? Now the problem with this is that when you are browsing your news feed, there is not only too much news that's coming in. Quite often, the news will be conflicting as well, right? So for example, you have one analyst saying that it's bullish, and they're buying, they're going all in, the market is going to see new highs. And then on the other hand, you have some analysts saying that the market is going to crash, everything is really bad. So you kind of get totally confused because you have no idea whether you want to go long or go short. And then when you finally have made up your mind and decided that you want to take a trade, right, and then suddenly you see this famous analyst is going against my opinion, and then suddenly you sort of like lose confidence in your own setups and your own strategies, and then you get confused, or you're not sure should I be going long or should I be going short, right? So how do you deal with something like this, right? How do you deal with all the news that is constantly bombarding you, right? So the first thing I'll suggest, right, is to be able to differentiate between fact and opinion, right? So that's a very important thing, fact and opinion, right? So what are facts? Right, so facts are things like raw data, economic data, statistics, right, research, right, or like case studies, studies from credible sources like maybe a research journal, or maybe like a medical report or a scientific report, or data from credible sources, right, like the official sources, right. So these are things that are fact, right, meaning it's not an opinion, right? These are just raw data that is, that's undisputable. Of course, you can, there's some variance or dispute about how the data is collected, but this is the raw data that you are going to work with, right? So I'll suggest that this raw data should, form like based on the 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of what you study should be fact and data, right, rather than opinions. Right, so what you want to do is to have some sort of, check out like have a list of all the credible sources, right? Or like, an economic calendar, maybe for economic data, and maybe a official website for certain sources of data that you're looking for, right? And just browse this data. So, don't trust the data that you see on, say, some Facebook links or WhatsApp groups that may not be actual factual data, right? Things that just because someone say that this is from a some famous person said this, or some research says this, doesn't necessarily mean that that is true, right? So you need to go online to check, right, to make sure that whether that's actually true or not. So the other 20%, right, is opinion, right? So opinion differs from fact in the sense that opinion is people's opinion of the data, right? So when people take the data and then they analyze it, and they come up with their opinion, right? So different people who process the same data might come up with different opinions, right? So so opinion in a sense is a less trusted source of raw data, right? However, you can still make use of it, right, by looking for the credible sources of opinion, right? By credible, I mean, people. So for example, if you have doctors, right, who are analyzing, say, medical data, right, so that will be a credible, source of analysis, right? So some sources of opinions will be things like, blogs, newspapers, news websites. social media, right, analysts. So what you want to do with opinion is to have a few people or a few websites or blogs or that you trust, right, and you have found that their analysis is good. So you follow these few people, right, and you just go back and refer to them whenever you need an opinion, right, or when you need help forming your own opinion, right. So this will form only about 20%, facts will form about 80%. So what I usually do is I just have a sort of a news aggregator, right, where I track all the major sources of news and all my favorite bloggers, my favorite news websites, right. I just aggregate them using a news aggregator. So every day I just browse through my credible sources of news and opinions, right, facts and opinions. So in a sense, I can get like all the information I need really quickly all in one source, right. So I don't waste time browsing like different WhatsApp groups or Facebook pages or groups just to get data from all different sources. They'll be very time consuming, and you don't know whether the data and the opinions you get are credible or not. Okay, so that is one way to sort of sieve out the news, right, between fact and opinion. The next thing that is really important is to differentiate between what you see and what you think. Okay, so there's an interesting quote, one of my favorite quotes actually, right, which says, "Trade what you see, not what you think." Right, so opinions are basically what you think, right? So once you have read a couple of analysis, and you also have sort of formed your own analysis, right, basically that is what you think, right? So what you think could be an opinion of the market. For example, I think that the market is bullish. I think that it's likely going to make a new high this year, right? Or maybe your opinion is I think the market is going to crash, right, in the next 3 months, right? So that is what you think, right? So what you think may not always be what happens in reality. All right, so when it comes to trading, the most important thing actually is to trade what you are seeing, right? So what you see is basically what's on the chart, right? What the chart shows, right? So for example, if you think the market is very bullish, right, but the price keeps dropping, right? So that shows that your opinion is actually wrong, right? Because the market is proving that your opinion is wrong. Right, so what you have to do, so even if your opinion is right, even if if you think that the market is going up, but on the chart the price is going down, in the end you will still lose money if you trade based on your opinion, right? So what I'm trying to say is that it's more important to trade based on the reality of the market, right, the price action on the chart, rather than trading based on your opinions. So of course the best is the sort of the way to combine this together is you might have a certain opinion, right, but you don't act on the opinion until the market, right, has confirmed your opinion, right? So for example, if you are very bullish, right, you will want to wait till the chart shows a bullish setup, right, or the chart confirms maybe a bullish reversal pattern or something, right, that confirms your opinion before you actually take the trade and go in the market, right? So at the end of the day, it's still very important when it comes down to trading, right? Despite all the different news opinions that you see out there, and including your own opinion, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing is still to stick to your core strategies, your core setups, right? Because it doesn't matter what your opinion is or what some famous analyst says, right? At the end of the day, the only thing that matters, right, is whether when you are long, is the price going up or is the price going down, because that's the only thing that determines whether you make money on the trade or not, right, and whether you are profitable in the long run, right? So I'd like to end off with the same quote again, right? Trade what you see, not what you think. Right, so I hope after this video you will have a better idea of how to tackle all the news that is constantly bombarding you, how to filter out fact and opinion, right, and also how to ultimately focus, right, on your trading strategies and your trading setups. Right, so if you enjoy this video, do subscribe for our YouTube channel, right, for more videos, And also do check out our website, right, for a lot of exciting trading guides, right, covering all different aspects of trading and investing. And lastly, do not forget to subscribe to our Telegram channel where we post daily market analysis. Right, so that's all I have for this video, and I'll see you in the next video.